Hey, Raptor fans, welcome to Raptors Today, the first one of 2025. I am your substitute host for the great Akil Augustine, and with me, I am joined by Savanna Hamilton and Jevohn Shepherd. How you guys doing?
Great.
New year, new me.
New year,
same you.
Same me. Bringing the future into this.
Let's jump into it. Something we haven't been able to say in a long time. Raptors win, Raptors win, Raptors win. They finally got over the hump. Savannah, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the game against Brooklyn?
Oh, I thought it was great. I think even though Brooklyn had a hot start to kind of set the tempo, Raptors, they quickly bounced back. It was great to almost get like a bit of a preview of what the lineup should be. Obviously, RJ wasn't out there, but I think that the guys were able to play in their natural positions, and because of that, they succeeded. Like Immanuel Quickley had 15 assists, and helped the Raptors kind of like amplify
one turnover
individual games with one turnover. That's crazy. Yeah, Scottie was being Scottie. Yep. You saw Grady putting up shots. Grady was playing in his position. Like everything just looked very smooth and controlled. That's what I saw.
Yeah, I think they got that win at the right time, because I think we can all agree when the losses start to pile up, despite all this team having really good chemistry, you could just see the frustration starting to mount. At the end of the day, when that ball gets tossed up, coaches want to win. Players are competing to win. And that was sort of starting to take a toll, and you could just see it in the body language of guys. And you mentioned it, right? Having IQ back, it just changed the enthusiasm of the team, right? It was he comes with like this infectious positive energy that permeates throughout the team. And then from like a tactical standpoint, you got back a guy that's a natural ball handler. You got a guy that's a natural 3-level scorer. So to Sav's point, everybody that just falls back into their natural position, it makes the game so much easier. And when you have IQ on the floor and you have Scottie on the floor, I think those two are always going to get opposing teams' best defenders, because IQ's a natural ball handler on the floor. Yeah, Scottie, he can bring the ball up with his size. He can pass over defenses. RJ's shown that he can play make as well. But IQ has the bop in his step. He has the flow, right? He has that natural ability there. That makes things easier. So when those guys are going to track opposing teams' two best defenders, it's going to make it easier for a Grady. Like how many wide open shots did Grady just walk
and
into?
Abaji as well. And you know what I saw? What I noticed? It looked fun. I don't know how you guys feel, but it just the game, like win, lose, draw. I understand that, but like the game just looked so much more fun. IQ was bopping, and then I started bopping.
Scottie was dancing.
Scottie was dancing.
And you know what? To that as well, Scottie was in positions where he wasn't ball handling as much. He wasn't shouldering the weight of the entire team.
Yeah, he didn't have to play make.
He didn't have to play make.
No.
So he got to those mid-post positions where now we can take advantage of his size. Then you can take advantage of his natural.
He got fast break dunks.
Exactly.
Right.
Out of the 14 shots he took up until the fourth quarter, only 4 of them were actually outside the paint. Yeah. Everything else was in the low block in that area. He shot a few threes, but it doesn't matter. Like
these guys are comfortable. These guys are comfortable right now. That's the thing that we're seeing kind of translate to on screen. Like that's why they're happy. That's why there's pep in their step, because like they have been playing out of position, and we all know as players that when you play out of position, it can be uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Because you're learning a different position completely in a whole play scheme, let alone the ABC options out of it. And on top of that, just like how do you step into being a point guard, a full point guard, when you grew up a forward? It's different.
Well, what also helps is that you've now, the other side to that is for guys that are playing out of positions, you've now learned those positions. You learn responsibilities
what the next guy's
of those positions. So when you have everybody back now, you know what the expectation is of the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. So everybody's plays, everybody where they're supposed to be on the floor from all 5 positions. That helps you become a better player. For IQ, he sat on the sideline for a couple of games now. He also got to evaluate his own team and his own teammates and see what they've been missing.
And
so
just watch.
It helps everybody. It helps everybody.
Yeah. Well, clearly we could talk for days about this topic, but let's hear from the players instead of us.
How nice was it to connect with IQ back on the floor again?
It was amazing. It was great. The intensity that he brought to the floor tonight, both ends of the floor, it was great. Something that we really missed and we needed. His playmaking ability, his ability to just get to the paint, his shooting, all that we needed that. And his leadership, he was unbelievable talking throughout the whole entire game today. We really missed it.
Was it nice for you to kind of play off the ball a little bit more and kind of find your opportunities that way?
For sure. It was definitely nice to play off the ball. I can be a little bit more aggressive rather than just thinking about playmaking the whole time. So, it was nice to be able to just do that and then be able to just make other reads.
Hopefully RJ will be back soon. How much are you looking forward to seeing what this looks like with all of you guys out there?
It's going to be great. RJ's going to just keep taking away more. He's got to be a big scout when he's out there on the floor. He has to demand attention with the way he's able to drive the ball, get to the rim, and put that so much pressure on the rim. He just takes off so much pressure for all of us. It just makes us more dangerous.
How good did it feel to be back?
Felt great.
When you have the game taken away from you for a long time, you see it, you're a little bit more grateful. You miss it, and not that I took the game for granted before. I feel like I worked pretty hard, but, it's just good to compete, be out there with your teammates, coaches. It's just a different feeling than just, being on the sideline.
With the ball or without it, what's the key for you to make sure guys are in the right place as they run their legs, kind of?
I think just recognizing the situation. There was one it was 3-on-2 and Kelly was kind of like running on the wing and I was telling him run to the rim so Kobe could get a wide open three. Or if it was like there was one early in the game, Och had a wide open layup, just having space and trying to put guys in the right position to where they can be successful. So many guys on this team do so many great things. The way Och finishes at the rim, Yacht can finish at the rim, Grady and Jacoby shooting the ball. Shed and Davion, their defense. Scottie was unbelievable on both sides of the ball. So there's a lot of great things that everybody was doing. It's just a credit to those guys.
So it's possible to sort of communicate well in transition?
Absolutely, you can.
Welcome back to Raptors Today. Again, I'm joined by Savanna Hamilton and Jevohn Shepherd, and Raptors finally got a win. We talked about team chemistry now and how much that can be affected with the return of Quickley. They're finally getting some bodies back healthy. One of the things that Quickley said that I really, really resonated with yesterday was he goes, sometimes you don't get the results from the work that you're putting in. Yeah. And I think that's something that we can all agree on, that the Raptors, they put in work off the court. People don't see it. All they see is the 2 hours on the floor. Shep, talk to me about the team thus far and their no quit attitude.
Yeah, I think the no quick attitude and the resiliency that this team has shown, at this part in the season, right? They've had a ton of losses, and it really hasn't wavered in terms of how the guys see one another, in terms of the chemistry in the locker room. But now I think with guys healthy, we want to get to see, we all want to see what does chemistry look like on the floor, right? And we've talked about it so long, right? These guys spent time together in Europe this offseason. They spent time together in Miami this offseason, just, in their own training camps and as a team together. And everybody spoke volumes about that, the togetherness of this group. But we don't know what it looks like on the floor, because that's not something that you quantify and is going to be in a box score, right? That is a energy, that's a vibe across the team. And I think we saw a glimpse of it with IQ, against Brooklyn when, he knocked down a three, the entire bench got up, he's, swagging, he's skipping, and everybody feels that energy. Like, that's what chemistry looks like.
That's my favorite celebration in the
league.
Right? I love it.
And that's what chemistry is. So when you have everybody back now, and the guys have had it in the locker room weathering the losses, and the coaching staff, how's that going to translate on the floor?
Yeah.
And does that actually translate to wins?
That's a great question.
You're right. Like, the results of your work don't come in the time that you want it to. It does. Yes. It's not immediate, but it eventually does come. And I think that's, for Raptors fans and enthusiasts, that's something to be excited about right now, because you're going to get to see a new phase of this team, the chemistry that we've been talking about.
Absolutely.
I think that the word that we're looking for is culture. Culture was set in the preseason. Garrett Temple spoke to this even, and you mentioned this in the first block, just the fact that you could be frustrated. Frustration's good. Nobody wants to. You should be frustrated if you're losing, but you can't fracture. And Garrett said that in just the other day. He was like, you can't fracture. This team is not going to fracture because everyone has open lines of communication. There's no awkward tension when you get into the plane. There's no awkward tension when you get into the locker room. We're all trying to help each other out. And I could tell that the guys in Jamal Shed, like the rookies, they listen to the vets.
Yeah.
And you got to, especially think about like the weight in that in terms of how that translates to the court. Like they want feedback, they want to get better. Like if they're not seeing the results, they're not thinking me. They're not thinking, oh, let me just get my numbers. They're thinking, how can we as a team collectively win? And now you got your pieces back, and now you're seeing like the positivity through the rough losses is translating to even more positivity in now the wins. And I would say, just to rival the skipping comment, I think Bruce Brown has a really sick one.
Hey.
Well, he don't play enough for that though.
Well, hey.
Not yet.
We'll see him more.
Sav, to your point as well, and one thing that is understated is that winning band-aids a lot.
It does.
Absolutely.
With
I've always
teams,
said
right?
that.
Absolutely.
It hides the stink.
Right? So I think with this is new year, new Sav.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
Same Sav.
Same us.
With same us, new Sav. But for a team that has piled up losses and has just had, a pretty long losing streak, there was nothing to band-aid, right?
Everything was exposed.
Everything was exposed.
Yeah.
So you've seen the team rock bottom, right? And now you're getting to build and see what they're going to look like healthy. Now you're going to see what they look like with the same chemistry that we're talking about. But I think, you want to win, but winning also band-aids so much. And we've seen it later on, with a lot of teams over the years, and when you get into playoffs, you get into spring, where they've had great regular seasons, and then you're like, what the heck happened in the playoffs?
And if I could just add just one more thing, is that so out of the 3 seasons I've been obviously covering the team on the sidelines, I've gone into the locker rooms tons and tons of times. And not to say that the last couple seasons have been like awful or nothing like that, no. But this season has by far been the best in the locker room to approach the guys, to talk about what's happening on the court. I see them talking to each other. It's not just like they're just saying this to media. Like I actually go in there and I actually see them, and they're not like hanging their heads down too low. Like, it's where it's like it's sulky.
It also helps.
It's just like, let's get better.
Yeah, it also helps when you have a group of guys that are now in the same range age-wise, the same range socially, so they have developing together, so they have the same interests, right? And that also so much of development is also off the court, right?
But basketball, as we all know, it's a results-driven business.
Yeah,
we don't see what anyone does, after a game or before it. So winning yesterday, does that fix what happened in the 11-game winning streak in terms of we can be more optimistic about the future?
Nothing. It's not an immediate fix. I think that,
but it helps.
It's a showcase. It's a bit of a preview. It's a tease, if anything, to say like, hey, this is what they could be. This is the seedlings. This is what we could be.
Right.
And
if we were healthy, this is what it probably would be.
Have all been all season or whatever, or like at least maybe some games like Boston's a very seasoned team, so like But I was even thinking the fact that like, the Raptors are still one of the fastest teams in the league in transition.
Yes, they are,
and that's because of their youth. That's because they're young. So I don't think that
it gives you new measurables, right? Because you look at a win like that. That's against a team that is in a similar situation to yourself, right? Developing, and when you're comparing yourself to other developing teams, you get to see where you are in that process. Right. I think what also helps is you've had a ton of games where you're learning from losses, right? And we've extracted some things that we've done well. We've extracted some things that we haven't done so well. Now the game, and yes, it is Brooklyn, right? In the game that you come out with a victory, now we're watching the film and saying the coaches can turn to the guys and say, "Look, we did this well, right? And improve on this. And what we did well here is a byproduct of all these games where we came in here with the towel over our head and we were disappointed with a loss. We got better here. It's the NBA. You don't get time to practice. You don't get time, 2 hours of, we're going to drill these guys and beat it into them. But you can use that as a target. You can use that as a measurable because we've watched the film, we've learned from it, we executed, and these are the results.
And they'd be staying in the film room. I know that.
Well, let's take our attention to the person who's running all the film sessions. Let's hear from Coach Darko.
You seem to get you guys more organized at both ends. That's his biggest skill in this group?
He's got a lot of skills, but he's point guard. He gets guys when he's bringing the ball up the floor. He's calling plays on the run, recognizing situations. That's really hard for a coach when team is in the pace and running to yell from the other side. He's doing a really good job, and he's really my extension on the floor when he plays out there. And I think him playing is going to really help other guys, especially young guys like Jamal and Jacoby, to learn some of those skills and pick up from him.
Simply from a morale standpoint, how important is a night like this, a win like this?
I think it's wins are always important. I always like to say, when teams playing a close game, right, and one team wins by 1 point, everybody says, "Oh, we had resiliency tonight." It just happened that the other team missed the shot. So that doesn't mean that the other team that did not have resiliency. We are going through patch with the young team, and we were showing a lot of resiliency. If you guys could see the way those guys are studying the film, the way they're connected, the way they're supporting each other, you would be really, really proud of this group. And I know that I am proud of this group. This is a process. This is not 1 game, 2 games, 5 games. This is a journey that we're on. And obviously, you want to have all the guys healthy and able to play at their best level, so you know actually what you have and how they complement each other and how they can make each other better. I know that our group, they really like each other, they respect each other, and I can't wait for the moment to put them all together and build that.
It's Damon Stoudemire, and thanks for watching the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest videos and subscribe for more.
Stoudemire launches a 3, knocks it in! Stoudemire. Yes! What a shot!